Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of My Favorite Trip to the Movies, the show where movie going is not exactly the same as it was at the moment. I think it's definitely getting a little bit more normal. But this is the show where while movie going is getting a little bit more back to normal. This is our way of celebrating the movie going experience. The show where we discuss our favorite movie theater memories, our favorite concession items, and just kind of the overall awesomeness of that movie theater experience. And just before we get started, just a huge shout out to all the healthcare workers, all the teachers, and just all the other essential workers right now who are getting us through this difficult time. Thank you so much. Today's guest, episode number 20, and with Mother's Day weekend coming up, there's no better time to have one of the most important people in my life on the show. Someone whom the show would not even be possible with, and just so many things in my life would not be possible with. Just thanks to her, this person's amazing encouragement, support, and kindness. My mom. Mom, how are you today? Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me on your show. I think today is a perfect day to be a part of your show. I want to congratulate you on your, I guess I call them podcasts on communicating awesomeness, because if anybody knows Joey Spangler, they know that he is just awesome. And also, I think it was a perfect day because today was Teacher Appreciation Day. And I know you always give shout outs to all the teachers. And at our school, we are doing an alphabet countdown. And today was letter K for kindness. So besides being awesome, Joey, you are absolutely one of the most kind people that we know. And we have had many, many movie experiences together. So let's get started.
Yes, that's something well, thank you, Mom. That was so nice. That is so good. Couldn't have got any of that stuff without you. Thank you. And as my mom said too, happy Teacher Appreciation Week and Mother's Day. Just so many awesome, and I think it's Nurses Appreciation Week this week too.
Mm-hmm.
So many awesome.
Maybe Nurses Appreciation Day.
Oh yeah, I think that's it.
Joey has a sister, or I have a sister, and Joey has an aunt who is a nurse. So shout out to Aunt Kay, who is celebrating Nurses Day today as well.
Yeah, so many awesome events and special days this week for sure. And as my mom just stated, we've experienced so many movies together, and I think we've been since 2000 and probably 4 or 5. We've gone to so many, and we just went to one. We've gone to so many recently too, and so yeah, let's get right into the show. Mom, what is one of your favorite movie theater going experience, or a few of them?
Okay, so first of all, one of my favorite, I actually have a few, so I couldn't just do one, but my favorite movie experience was a couple of weeks ago. Joey and I went to see Godzilla versus Kong. And I have to say that one of my 4th grade students is a huge Godzilla fan. So I know more about Godzilla than I ever want to know. But we went to the movie theater together, and we haven't been to many movies since COVID. So we got there early, we had our seats, and we were just sitting. And so I was tying my shoe, and then all of a sudden, the lights turned off, and I heard this voice that said, "I just love going to the movies." And then Joey tapped me and said, "Mom." And I looked up, and there was Joey's face on the big screen at the Elk Grove Classic Cinemas. Now, you have to understand that Joey and I have gone to so many movies at this theater over the years. And knowing Joey and how much he loves going to the movies, and also knowing Joey, how many times you hear him say the word awesome, it was just this moment that I will never forget. And what happened was Joey had entered a contest during COVID about that Classic Cinemas offered about going to the movies and the whole movie experience. So he submitted his video that he recorded in our house. We didn't know about it. And they actually selected him and made a video do you call it montage, Joey? Is that the name for it?
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Video montage about, what was it called? Like, welcome back to the cinemas. And it aligns so perfectly to Joey's podcast. And it was just a really cool moment. So I was proud of you, Joey.
Oh, well, thanks, Mom. I'm honored. I'm honored to be part of the intro video. It's an honor to be part of it. Thanks for thanks. It couldn't have been possible without you.
So if you happen to go to a classic cinema movie, which I'm hoping that after watching Joey's podcast, you'll realize how important it is to get back to the theaters, and you hear a voice and you think it might be Joey, it is. Well, look quick, because it's only about 7 seconds, Joey.
Just about.
So that was my most recent memory. But actually, as I thought back and looked at memories, I have one. My very first memory was when I was just a young girl. And I grew up in a very small town, about 100 miles south of Chicago, where Joey spent many, many holidays and summers and lots of times with his grandparents. And when I was about, this is the first movie experience that I remember, we went to see the movie called Mary Poppins. And Mary Poppins was a Disney movie. It was a Walt Disney movie. And I think it was produced in like the 60s sometime. I don't know for sure. But we went to see it at a movie theater in Streator, Illinois. Now, Streator is a small town. There's only 2 theaters. And this was before they had classic cinemas or AMCs. So I went with my 2 sisters and Joey's grandma and grandpa. And I remember walking into the theater, and I remember this burgundy carpeting and it just being very grand, and wanting to sit in the very front row. And my parents telling me, you can't sit in the front row, that's too close, you won't enjoy the experience. You know, we thought the best seat would be in the front. And they're like, no, 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 no. To go to the movie, you have to sit farther back. But being so young, I didn't know that. So I just remember seeing, it was Dick Van Dyke and Julie Andrews, and really cool like animations and music and songs. And to quote Mary Poppins, it was, I think it's like perfect in every way or something. She says, I forget the quote that she says, practically perfect in every way. So it was a great movie theater memory for me.
Well, I love both of those. I love both those stories. And starting with the first one, yeah, considering that was our first movie back at our favorite theater, and over a year and a few months at that point. So that was such an awesome, and I always remember that like kind of the return to our favorite cinema, and yeah, that other part, yeah, that was. Sorry, I didn't tell you about that.
It was a big surprise, so that made it one of my favorite memory at the movie. Joey and I have been to several movies together at Elk Grove Theater. It's my favorite theater. I like because it's smaller and just classic, and as a mom would say, it's easy to park there. So
it's absolutely easy to park there. It's very, and the bathrooms are close. You know, the drink machine's close. It's perfect.
Except whenever Joey and I go to the movie at Elk Grove, we always end up in theater number 10, which is the farthest theater to the concessions. So I don't know why, but whenever we go to the theater, I say, what theater is it? And he's like, it's theater 10.
Oh yeah, many good times there for sure. And I love your Mary Poppins example in Streator. Is that the same theater that you and I and Grandpa saw? I think we saw either Shrek 2 or Cheaper by the Dozen at one of those at a theater in Streator. Would that have been the same one, or were they just kind of?
Good question, Joey. So I think there were 2 theaters in Streator. I don't know why I remember this. You remember random things from your childhood, but they were called the Majestic or the Plum. So we'd have to look it up and do some fact checking and see which would have been open when you went with Grandpa. And did Grandpa fall asleep?
I think so. One of the times I was just with you. I was with you. You were there too, so it wasn't. I think one of the times it might have just been Grandpa and I.
Uh-huh.
But it made it part of the fun, and I got to go to a movie with Grandpa, so that was always a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
And also Mary Poppins, like I mean, I'm sure it was a huge deal when it was released, but like I don't think anyone could have predicted like and like how big of a movie it would become. So that's so cool. You saw such like a classic like right when it released in that present moment.
It did, and there were all of these like special like side effects with it, or special effects.
Mhm.
And I remember Dick Van Dyke dancing with these little penguins in it. And there weren't computers back then, or I don't even know how they did all the animation with
So
it.
you were
But
absolutely like mind blowing, yeah.
one thing I did look up today, I think it was nominated for like 13 Academy Awards or Oscars or whatever. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, so well deserved. And I mean, and with Mary Poppins Returns in 2018 and Saving Mr. Banks in 2013, we still see the kind of just the legacy of that film continue to grow. And I'm sure we'll see another iteration of that universe sometime in the future.
Right. And I remember I took your sister, Joey's younger sister, Nikki, and we saw Mary Poppins like on Broadway.
And that was
So
that the one on the circle stage, I think.
yes, yes. Very exciting. It was just like, oh my gosh, I remember having this experience as a young girl and then taking your sister to see it live on Broadway. It was
Awesome. I'm glad everything kind of got to come back full circle,
mm-hmm.
which is super cool, and especially with the circle stage. So that's a fun pun, I guess.
Parallel. There you go. We like our
Parallel.
puns, Joey.
We do like our puns, and my mom always has so many awesome puns. So shout out to my mom for that. Okay, so our next segment of the show, I'm so glad we talked about Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, as well as Mary Poppins, and I think I know one of your answers for this next segment. Favorite concession items at the movies.
Okay, so first of all, my favorite concession is the Elk Grove popcorn, the Elk Grove Classic Cinema popcorn. It's just it's always fresh, it's always warm, it's always salty, and they also always have the free refills. So I love that about Elk Grove Cinema. So shout out to them.
Yes.
And then if you eat all that popcorn, well, then just like if you give a mouse a cookie, if you give your mom some popcorn, she's going to want a cherry Coke. So, and there's no better place to get, did you know that, Joe? A cherry Coke than the Elk Grove Classic Cinema Theaters.
Oh, perfectly said. That's definitely the unofficial official drink of this show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
wonder if other people like the cherry Cokes there, or just me.
No, you're not the two other. I know Nick and I talked about the cherry Coke on this show. You're definitely not. The awesomeness has shown its way to so many people for sure. It's so good, and the popcorn too at Elk Grove Classic Cinemas, and they always have such good deals. Like I think if you're a Classic Cinemas, anyone listening, if rewards number, there's free popcorn for Mother's Day. We just got a coupon, so that's always lots of good coupons for that for sure.
All right, we'll have to plan a movie outing together, Joey.
Yes, we have to. Oh, for sure, definitely, Sam. I always enjoy that. And for this next segment of the show, we're going to talk about kind of just your take on the overall importance and the awesomeness of going out to the movies and experiencing everything on the big screen. Because streaming is definitely awesome, but I always like especially in this past year, and I always. But like, what's your take on the importance of being able to go out and experience art and movies with other people?
Well, I think after this past year, after COVID, I didn't realize how much I missed actually going to the theaters. I think going to the theaters, you have your mindset, like you reset your thinking. You're going to go to a movie, you're going to relax. You are not going to, as a mom with our Mother's Day theme, you're not going to stop, pause, and unload the dishwasher, or stop, pause, and do throw a load of clothes in the washing machine. So it's just a nice way to escape and get away from something that you would be doing at home. So I also like the shared experience. Joey and I have had many shared experiences at theaters together. So I think that, when you go to the theater, Joey is a big reminder. If anybody out there has been to a movie with Joey, he's a big person to tell you to put your phone away, turn down your phone, put it away, mom. So that really helps me like to escape and get away from the stresses of life. So yeah.
Also, well, perfectly said. Because yeah, definitely. There's some things that's so special about being kind of in that theater. So many other people there, and you can't focus on anything but the movie, and you just kind of get to, go into this other world. So awesome. And
Right. And I didn't want to interrupt you, Joy, but I think when we saw, to circle back to Godzilla versus Kong, Joy and I were in the theater with probably maybe 12 other people. It was a maybe a Tuesday night or Thursday night. I think a Thursday night.
Mhm.
And the emotions of people that were like cheering. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Gets you in the zone for some awesomeness.
exactly.
And kind of another movie I always remember seeing it with you, and kind of I think it was like we saw it was like one of those February days, February 2017. We saw this movie, and it was one of those February days where it was like I think it was 60 or 70 out, and it was sunny outside. And if we would have watched this movie at home at that exact like time of day, I don't think we would have had the impact we had. And that was Lion. With the we saw that, I remember, and that was just like a very moving movie. And I think it still would have moved us for sure if we watched it home. But I think we were in that theater, and if we were at home on like that sunny Saturday with so many distractions trying to watch that, we would not have had that experience. And that's such a good movie, and I'm so glad we saw that kind of in a way we couldn't focus on anything but the movie.
Right. Good memory, Joe.
And we saw Beauty and the Beast together. We've seen, trying to just,
Oh, so Joey and I have seen so many
yeah.
Jurassic Park movies together.
Oh, Jurassic Park 3, yeah, 2001. That was probably one of the first.
Yes. And I remember there's a story that Joey knows I'll probably tell. We went to see one of the Jurassic Park movies with a couple of Joey's friends, and everybody had to go to the bathroom at different times in the movie. And once again, we were at the farthest screen away from the bathrooms. And the boy, you weren't old enough to leave in the theater. So I'd have to take all three of you all the way down the hallway, run to the bathroom. We'd all get back and sit down. And it was probably too much drinking of cherry Coke from you guys. Probably should have limited the amount of beverages you had.
Well, we were very lucky. We had such an awesome parent there to
take care
of us. And in Jurassic Park 3, that's like an hour and a half movie. So I'm sorry, you probably missed like 15% of that movie or 20% of that movie. So I'm sorry. I hope you're able to watch the full thing at some point.
Well, that's what mothers do.
Mm-hmm. And we were able to see Jurassic World and the second Jurassic World 15 or 14 years later, and then 17 years later. So hopefully that I'm glad we got to see that one too. Those ones in theaters. All right. Well, I think that is the show. Mom, thank you so much for being on. This is so awesome. Such a great way to kind of start the Mother's Day weekend. And I mean, I can't thank you enough for just all. I mean, you probably definitely played a role in getting me into the movies. Like you and Dad for sure. I mean, we watched a lot of movies when I was a kid, and we went.
One of the reasons why we would have you go to the movies, there's always a big movie release around Thanksgiving, and I would always have Dad take you and your brother to the movies, so you would like escape from the house for a couple hours, so I could get a lot of things done that I needed to do for like Christmas. Did you know that? So I'd be like, okay, I'm guaranteed that they're gone for 2 hours. I could get some Christmas shopping done, or I could get things wrapped that I need to for the holidays when you guys were out of the house.
That also kind of aligns perfectly with the whole, like, when you're in a movie, you can't do anything else but enjoy and focus on the movie. Cause like we were there, we weren't able to pause it and, find you and ask you for something.
No distractions.
Yeah. And I wonder, because I do remember like one of my first movies. I mean, besides Jurassic Park 3, was Dad and I and Andrew, we saw Men in Black 2, and that came out like 2002. So that had to have been that around that time, around either Christmas or Thanksgiving. I think. I'm not sure. Actually, I gotta look that up because I'm curious. Because I remember we saw that together, and I don't know why. I don't remember too many. Oh, that came out over July 4th weekend. Never mind. But there was definitely other movies around that time for sure, though. We definitely went to November and December.
So, Joey, I wish you really good luck on your podcast, Communicating Awesomeness. I'm honored to be a guest.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I know I kind of threw this at you over text yesterday. So thanks for being on so kind of last minute, and so awesome hearing your Mary Poppins story, as well as talking about our awesome experience with Godzilla vs Kong just a few weeks ago. That's such a great way to kind of get back into our favorite cinema. So many memories there. Any closing words or thoughts or things to promote for the viewers before we end?
No, but I was thinking to circle back to Mary Poppins. There's a word in Mary Poppins called supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And actually, it is a word in the dictionary that means like in a wonderful way. So I hope your podcast continues in a wonderful way.
Oh, well, that perfect way to end the show. Thank you so much, Mom. Happy National Teachers Appreciation Week. Everyone go find a teacher in life. Thank them for everything, especially for you just for everything they do. Sincerely. All right,
Thank you,
everybody.
Joey.
Oh, thank you, Mom. All right, everybody. Have an awesome night. A wonderful night.